Well, during this edition of Storm Watch, we're going to talk about a blistering heat wave for this upcoming Labor Day weekend, which will be plaguing much of the central and southern plains and expanding into parts of the Midwest as well by tomorrow. But right now, it's time for a look at the tropics. Let's show you what's going on as we take a look at the big view right now and put it into motion. We're going to take a look at the entire Atlantic basin from the Gulf of Mexico right through the Caribbean and all the way over towards the Gulf of, over towards the coast of Africa. And again, you can see there is not a bunch of stuff going on right now that we can really pinpoint, but there are a couple of suspect areas that we're going to have to be watching during this holiday weekend and especially in the early next week. One is going to be a tropical wave, and this is going to be moving through the southern part of Florida for the upcoming day, enhancing the chances of showers over central and south Florida, especially around the Florida Keys and also right around Miami. You can see that wave approaching right now. It's rather elongated, moving back towards the west. And at the same time, we're looking at some more thunderstorms trying to gel, trying to congregate again across parts of the let's say the western Caribbean into the southern Gulf of Mexico and the Bay of Campeche. And that's exactly what we have to monitor for this time of the year. Nothing is going to be developing anytime soon, but conditions are becoming much more favorable now. And some of our latest computer models are suggesting that perhaps this tropical wave will be teaming up with an area of low pressure trying to organize with the southern Gulf as the weekend goes on. And we could be looking at some problems again by early next week along the Gulf Coast. It will be slow to evolve. And once again, everything is disorganized right now, but should be becoming better organized, we believe now, within the next 3 or 4 days. Something to monitor again, perhaps in the Gulf of Mexico. Farther out into the Atlantic, we'll take a look at the islands. No problems here whatsoever for the upcoming day or two. There is another weak cluster of showers and storms beginning to work its way on towards the west, and a third one with a broad area of circulation, which came off the coast of Africa. It was a very strong tropical wave. We'll show you that one a little bit closer. And once again, we can show you that as it moved on towards the west. Lost a lot of its convection, but that broad circulation is still there. And sometimes that can make it all the way over towards the mid-Atlantic before it gathers any more convection, any more thunderstorms. And sometimes after that point, it can gain some more tropical characteristics and become a problem for the United States sometimes way down the road. Something else to monitor, and it looks like yet another wave trying to emerge and already has off the African coastline just southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. Let's show you what's going on right now as we take a look at the Mexico region. Once again, we're looking at some showers and thunderstorms again over the southwestern Gulf and the Bay of Campeche. Things are looking a little bit more ominous here as far as showers and storms, but we're monitoring this region right in through here for possibly another depression forming within the next day or two. ISIS basically is gone, the moisture again all trapped up into the southwestern part of the country, and that'll lead us right into our forecast because that moisture which is still left over is going to help to spawn some more scattered showers and thunderstorms, doing it again this morning in the LA Basin and parts of Arizona, and of course with the heating of the afternoon, expect more of that as well. That tropical wave in Florida continues to move on towards the west, and you can see that's going to be enhancing the showers and thunderstorms across South Florida for today and right in Central Florida right through this evening. Then it looks like there'll be a decrease or a min in the action by tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, but also getting warmer too with the absence of clouds and also the absence of rain. Take a look at the middle part of the country. Here it's going to be hot, it is going to be dry. Record-setting temperatures likely again today from Dallas and Fort Worth, getting up towards Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Meanwhile, we're looking at more pleasant weather, and for much of the country, as you can see as we head into this Labor Day weekend, it is going to be dry. One big exception probably is going to be Central and South Florida, especially around Miami, West Palm, and the Florida Keys. You folks have the better chance of looking at those scattered showers and storms, especially during the afternoon. I'll show you those daytime highs. It's going to be another blistering one, especially from Texas. We'll call it all the way from Abilene and getting real close to San Antonio, across the Red River, just about all of Oklahoma. Much of Arkansas will be above 100 degrees today, and temperatures tonight falling off just a tad in those regions as well. More on the heat wave, more on your national weather coming up next.
How can you plan your day when you don't know what the weather is going to be like? I know people like to plan ahead for their day, and they need to know how the weather is going to be later in the day.
This program was sponsored by Walmart. Always low prices, always Walmart.
It starts here. It starts here. It also starts...
Good morning. I hope that you're having a very nice holiday weekend. It's now 10 minutes before the top of the hour and time now for Storm Watch. And this edition of Storm Watch is sponsored by Nationwide Insurance. Well, the big weather story today for the country is the fact that it's going to be very, very hot, especially across the nation's midsection. And we'll likely see more record highs being in jeopardy this afternoon. And we'll say more about that coming up in just a moment. First of all, though, let's see what's brewing in the tropics. It's time for your tropical update. And luckily, after a very, very hectic last couple of weeks with Hurricane Danielle and Bonnie and Earl, now things have calmed down, at least for the time being, across the tropics. We still, however, have a few suspect areas that we're watching rather closely for the potential for some development, but right now nothing is too threatening, and we certainly do not have any tropical storms or hurricanes to talk about at this point in time, but again, things could be changing over the next few days or so. Now, currently, as we check out what's happening across the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, we do see clusters of showers and thunderstorms developing across the Gulf of Mexico and then running southward towards the southern Gulf and around the Bay of Campeche. Now, we've been looking at some of the forecast models, and some of them do suggest the possibility that something might try to get going across the Gulf of Mexico in the next couple of days or so. So again, this is certainly one area that bears some watching, as we've been seeing clusters of showers and thunderstorms flaring up across the Gulf of Mexico. At the same time, too, we have a tropical wave that continues to pull its way across the western Caribbean. Showers and thunderstorms continue to flare up around the coastal regions of Cuba, showers and storms, too, near Jamaica, and running southward over towards the coastal regions of Honduras and Nicaragua. Right now, though, these thunderstorms are rather poorly organized, but we'll be watching the area for the possibility for some development in the next 24 to 48 hours or so. As we head eastbound, heading over across the rest of the Caribbean, it's very quiet on this Saturday morning. Nice conditions around Puerto Rico. Beautiful weather, too, for the Virgin Isles, around St. Croix and St. Thomas and across the Lesser Antilles. Just some beautiful weather conditions for some boating or some yachting right over the eastern Caribbean. No problem whatsoever with today's weather pattern. And heading a little bit farther out towards the Atlantic Basin, we're watching another tropical wave. It's been a rather weak one. Little wave about 10 degrees north latitude. It's been pulling off towards the west. And yet again, another tropical wave right on its heels. Now, this other wave that we've been watching has been a rather broad, a rather large tropical wave. But luckily, it doesn't have a whole lot of convection. We've just been seeing a few showers and thunderstorms over the southern fringes of this tropical wave. But there does appear to be some type of circulation, maybe some low-level circulation with this tropical wave, so we'll watch it very closely as it continues to pull towards the west at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. In the meantime, the eastern Pacific is still looking fairly active. Showers and thunderstorms, too, around the Gulf of Tehuantepec. More showers and thunderstorms, too, just to the west of Guadalajara. They're still rather disorganized at this particular point, but as usual, with some very warm water temperatures throughout this region, the possibility does exist that we might see something developing here in the future. So this is also an area that bears some serious watching. But elsewhere, as we head across the lower 48, looks like a fairly nice start to the holiday weekend with some dry conditions and very favorable weather conditions across much of the country. In the southwest, though, you might be busy dodging some showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. We still have an upper level low kind of milling around this area. That combined with some tropical moisture will spark off some showers and storms. They'll be primarily lined up across eastern Idaho, around the Snake River Valley, then running southward into southern California. And for those of you who might be doing some boating this afternoon around Lake Mead or Lake Mojave, keep a watchful eye to the sky because you might encounter some of those thunderstorms cropping up around Las Vegas. Even down through Florida, a chance for some very wet conditions. With that tropical wave drifting westbound, the showers and thunderstorms will be on the increase this afternoon. So be careful for those of you heading off to the beaches. It could be rather wet for central and southern Florida. Again, a very hot weather pattern across the nation's heartland. We'll have full details coming up.
Each time a disturbance comes off the coast of Africa, we follow that until it develops into a storm or to whatever it does. That way you're prepared and you're safe, out of harm's way.
This program was sponsored by Nationwide Insurance.
She came to Nationwide for auto and life insurance. Our homeowners helped him after a fire. They needed help planning for retirement. For these different needs, Nationwide Insurance.
I want to show it to you anyhow. Right here, that's what's left of Danielle. Here's Earl, here are the United States. It is going up and around this huge high pressure center, the Azores High in the Atlantic Ocean. Look at the motion here, heading off to the east, maybe even southeast. Suppose it's possible that it could actually wrap all the way around the backside of that high again and drop back down the tropics. Extremely unusual to see anything like that happen, but anyhow, it's in the case or category of quite interesting. Danielle, now an extratropical system, heading out in the North Atlantic, instead heading up toward the British Isles, maybe trying to make a little bit more of a track out toward Portugal. We'll keep an eye on it, of course. And over to the Pacific.
Hope your holiday weekend is going quite well. 10 minutes till the top of the hour. Thanks for tuning in for this edition of Storm Watch. I'm Lisa Moser. Right now in southern Arizona, we are keeping an eye on Pima County. We're under a severe thunderstorm warning there until 3:05 Mountain Standard Time. We'll be taking a look at those regional radars coming up. But first, we update you on the tropical weather, and it certainly has been a quiet several days past. To look at the tropical weather. We are looking at a few things that are becoming a little more interesting as the day ahead of us. We'll be looking at this area of the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. You may recall that the Bay of Campeche was where Earl, remember Earl a few days ago? Hurricane started out as a low pressure center in and around the bay, the extreme southern area of Mexico's Gulf. And the warm water temperatures are very favorable for additional development here. And right now, what we are looking at is a wave of moisture, one that is currently bringing rain showers from Mexico City all the way up to Brownsville, Texas, and another one that hasn't made it into the Gulf yet, but is on a westerly track right here across the area of the Caribbean Sea. And so as this continues to track to the east, the computer models are picking this up, and they're going to take it a little further to the north if in fact it does become a low pressure area. Keep in mind, development very slow as of yet, but certainly over the next 24-hour period and then into the next 48 hours, it's going to be very interesting to watch this tropical wave progress to the west and possibly to the north. Let's see, do we have those upper level winds fixed yet? Yes, we do. I want to show you where we have an upper level low here, and then one of the reasons that the convection and the possibility for development is favorable is because we're seeing a little diffluence over here towards the Caribbean. You see this? Diffluence. So we'll continue to watch this area. Certainly it is where things can easily strengthen. And do keep that in mind. At this time, we're not showing very much in the way of organization. There's just not a lot of organization there. We're not seeing any curvature. We're not seeing any twisting. But we do have cloud cover holding together, and it will be bringing in some rain showers. So if you're headed out for the weekend for Belize, take the umbrella as well as the bathing suit. You're going to need it. Out towards the Brownsville and New Mexico vicinity, well, this tropical wave is coming on board, and so we'll continue to bring rain showers as far northwest as Laredo, Texas, as we head into the evening hours. We'll also keep an eye on a little bit of tropical moisture that is currently over the southern tip of Florida. We also have this trough, and so the winds have been a little bit in different directions from the surface to aloft, and so we have seen some tornadic activity, and so it's not impossible to continue to see a little bit dangerous or a little bit of a tornadic threat here, and so we'll continue to watch this area also. A closer view of the Caribbean. Here is Cuba. This is the Yucatan Peninsula. We're looking at the Caribbean Sea, and you'll notice that the convection does extend quite a ways across the Caribbean. So we'll continue to watch this area for additional development. Another wave of moisture as we lose our daylight time. Perhaps I should take this out of the sequence by now. But I want to point out, here's Venezuela, here's the Leeward Islands. We go just a little bit further out across the Atlantic, and we have a wave of moisture. We'll continue to watch this wave. And yet another area of concern, we have one more wave coming off over to the coastal waters. And so the tropics has some potential, but right now, everything is pretty slow in any development. It'll be interesting, probably a little bit more as we head into Sunday evening. Continue to check us out on the tropical weather update for the Atlantic. Now, for the Pacific, out here just offshore of Old Mexico to the west coast in the Pacific, not far from the intertropical convergence zone, we are looking at a very favorable area for development here. And you see this very large mass of cloudiness, some convection, some showers and thunderstorms are within this area. And so we'll continue to watch this area because this is an area where several storms have originated also this year alone. Let's take a look back home. Besides showers in Florida and Brownsville, we also have some showers just to the north of the Southern California area, Central California, Nevada, and Utah, looking at some thunderstorms with some localized flooding problems here. The other big story as far as weather goes, the midsection of the country. It certainly has been a very hot day for Oklahoma City, where the current temperature is 105 degrees. Now, if you're trying to barbecue outside, I certainly hope that the door leading to the air conditioning is not far away. It could be a dangerous situation, especially when you calculate in some of the humidity. We'll be back. More details on your holiday.
A beautiful day across much of the country, but will the sunshine stick around for Labor Day? Weather Center is next, after your local forecast.
Boy, come on, we gotta go! Take the screen off! The screen's stuck! Hey! You stay away from here! Larry! Stuck! Come on!
Fight for 60 minutes. That's like we talk about that to your team all year long.
They run the fade, and it is caught for a touchdown. Sean Foreman on the receiving end, and he and Bulger have that play down. They worked that many times last year. And we watched them do it over and over again flawlessly in practice during the week, and this was executed to perfection.
Well, Mark Bulger puts a lot of air underneath the ball. He puts air under it so Foreman can run underneath it. If Foreman's not going to catch it, nobody's going to catch it. John Cooper figuring out what the heck's happening. They're throwing on me at the end of the game.
And the extra point is good. With a 17-point lead for Ohio State.